Hey homies, what's going on? RwC Paul here. I'm gonna ink a comic strip and you get to watch me do it if you feel like it. Let's change the lighting real quick. You hear me shuffling around, sorry about that. It's been kind of a strange week. Haven't done much, at least on the YouTubes. Yeah, I don't know. Keeping this one simple. It's about Trump bot. There's going to be an address tonight, which, you know, is just going to be full of insane lies and, you know, a possible political coup that I think is not getting enough attention, that someone is really going to announce to himself as being a dictator over this wall. And in the meantime, I have friends who are suffering because, you know, they try to make a difference in doing good work, just doing everyday things that a government needs to do. And, you know, now they have to sell their things because of this guy, of your president, who will never have to do anything unless it's court ordered. So, yeah, I'm mad. And, but, you know, that's why I said don't vote for him. And the people who voted for him are pretending that, like, well, this is, you know, there's really an intelligent long game going on out here. None of them can say that whatsoever. I might have a bit of a shaky hand going on here, and I'm sorry. So if you've been following along with the .com, it's been mostly just Dopey Robot and Princess Robo drawings. I'm not even trying with these buildings, by the way. This is kind of how I do my drawings these days. Although if you go to DC, buildings are not very tall. Very few of them are like 10 stories high. Not many skyscrapers. I'm going to color this in. Maybe I won't film me doing it because we're already at 4 minutes. Yeah, it's been kind of a week. So, you know, been kind of sad. Some life events. Just kind of rolling with it. And just kind of also planning the next move of my life, which is kind of what I should have been doing anyway. But, I want to thank everybody for their support of Robots with Coffee in general, for helping me keep this thing going and making it afloat. This is a good joy in my life. And meeting a lot of you guys and girls. It's been very helpful. Your support means a lot. I'll do this. We'll come back to that and finish that up. He's kind of in the background, really, even though he's in the center. So I'm not going to make his line weights all that thick, especially since I'm coloring in his suit shortly. You notice that I work from right to left, just because I'm left-handed, and for some reason, no matter what kind of pens people offer us, we smear. So I'm just going to be, that's why if you're reading along and looking at the dialogue boxes, the art that's filling in the gaps here is backwards, because it's just how I draw. And the other thing is, when you draw, you have to think, I've said this before, if you've been tuning in, like in 3D, because you need to draw what's in front, otherwise you can't erase these lines. So a bit of planning as you do this, because you're not done once you pencil it. And am I a tracer or am I adding to it as an inker? And that is the art of RwC Paul. Wow, RwC Paul, you're an amazing artist and everyone loves you. Thank you, Internet. I should hear that more often. So hopefully this doesn't take me too long, just because we're at 8 minutes now. And, maybe with greater care it should take me longer, but you sort of get in a rhythm, and I spent a lot of time thinking about this strip, even though it might not seem like it. There's some Poindexter. I'm using the same pen for everything, so everything's going to have kind of a thick line. But until I break out the marker, I used different pens for the word balloons and the lettering, because I have a pen that's broken, and when it's broken, it still kind of serves a purpose to spot the blacks a little bit here and there. And if you can see the squiggly line is the result of that broken pen, the word balloons. And I thought it was kind of like, well, I'll press on it and make it look a little frantic, or it'll still give me a thicker line in some of the balloons where there's going to be some emphasis, or it's going to fill in some of the gaps of the marker I used to make the borders this time around. Things like that. Wow, RwC Paul. I never knew art was so cerebral, especially yours. You're at the fart balloons. Yeah. There's not much else to add to this discussion. This panel doesn't have borders. So it's a more open theme, I guess. And there's another panel that doesn't have borders, the last panel. And never mind that this whole strip is about border walls or what have you. So I had to be extra careful when I edit it so I don't weaken the lines, which is pretty easy for me to do. But we're cruising along. My big hairy arm is in the way. Hope you enjoy it. You can probably hear my fan in the background. Not like the person who loves my work, but my ceiling fan that's on a lot because it gets really hot in here. Or maybe it's just me. Oops. That's a mistake. That's all right. I'll have to live with that. I usually start with the faces first when I'm penciling and when I'm inking, just so I can give myself an idea where everything else is going to be. Because I do change from the ink, from the pencil to the ink. And the proportions of this guy are rarely exact when I do these. When I draw him, frankly. Something I need to get better at. But But because I get to, color in a suit black, it'll make up for, I'll be able to mask some of the obvious mistakes. And I'm not sure if I can mask this mistake, but I can just say he doesn't know how to lay bricks or this or that. And all right, you're going to put some lines in here to show that they're already broken. All right. So yeah, and get one more panel. Just to make sure that, because I'm doing this at an angle or whatever. I had a friend of mine, a professional, tell me that a lot of my characters seem to lean to the right, and so it could just be that I'm not doing it. I have the paper is not at the right angle as I draw or some other nonsense. And I can fix that in an art program for sure, but it risks damaging other parts of the comic, where you have to create lines in the comic. Digitally, which may or may not match what I'm doing. And I don't draw digitally. And there's ways around it in the sense that I can make it look like I'm purposely distorting their body or whatever, and that's sometimes it's fun. Sometimes it looks better. But for the most part, I want to be consistent. Ow, that's my shoulder. Voted for this guy. I mean, his wheels are never the same shape. This is probably almost the same length, even though I've increased his body size. But A, no one's ever complained. B, I don't care. I mean, I do care, but I think that just if I make it comical, his tank treads, that is. Okay, so let's just sign it as Mort. And there you go. So it's about 20 minutes. I'm going to stop it there, and I'm just going to go and color it in. Marker, thank you for tuning in, if you tuned in, and I'll see you soon again.